The news day continues here in One News Now. I'm Diego Castro, bringing you the biggest headlines from around the world. Russia blasts an apartment block in Ukraine with missiles and swarmed cities with drone attacks overnight. At least one person was killed and 33 were wounded by the twin missile strike in the southern city of Zaporizhzhia. In a riverside town south of Kyiv, 8 people were killed and 7 were injured after a drone struck 2 dormitories. This comes as Chinese President Xi Jinping concludes his visit to Russia, calling it, quote, a journey of friendship and peace. The trip ended on Wednesday, which signaled no new progress in ending the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin reiterated Beijing's claims that it remains neutral in the conflict. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, has reached an agreement with Ukraine for a 4-year financing package worth $15.6 billion. The loan program offers funds that the country needs as it continues to defend itself against Russia's invasion. The agreement, which must still be ratified by the IMF's board, takes into consideration Ukraine's path to accession to the European Union after the war. If approved, the agreement would be Ukraine's biggest loan package since Russia's full-scale invasion on February 24 of 2022. The fund says its executive board is expected to discuss approval in the coming weeks. In a separate video address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says its armed forces need more ammunition and that they are expecting an increase in the supply from Western partners. He also praised the rare and unannounced visit by Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, describing their talks as productive. After an unexpected trip to Ukraine, Japanese Prime Minister flew to Poland to renew ties with Warsaw. The Japanese and Polish Prime Minister said bilateral relations between the two countries are strong and will develop in different fields. These include security, economy, and energy. Kishida also thanked Poland for playing a major role in providing Ukraine with military and humanitarian help.
ウクライナ侵略の長期化により、ポーランドの負担が増加していることを踏まえ、中所得国に成長されたポーランドでありますが、ODA 対象国として扱い、精力的に案件を積み上げていくことを首相にもお伝えさせていただきました。
The Japanese Prime Minister's visit to Poland coincides with Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to Russia, which it deemed, quote, very worrying. Poland says it has been trying to convince Beijing to not support Russia, especially after its year-long invasion of Ukraine.
Wizyta prezydenta Chin w Moskwie napawa nas również niepokojem. Ta oś Chiny-Moskwa jest niebezpieczna. Staramy się przekonywać Chiny, aby nie wspierały Rosji w jej agresywnej polityce międzynarodowej.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now World. I'm Diego Castro. Uganda's parliament passes a law that criminalizes identifying as LGBTQ, handing authorities broad new powers to target Ugandans who already face legal discrimination and mob violence. More than 30 African countries, including Uganda, already ban same-sex relations. But the new law appears to be the first to outlaw merely identifying as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, according to rights group Human Rights Watch. Supporters of the new law say it is needed to punish a broader array of LGBTQ activities, which they say threaten traditional values in the conservative and religious East African nation. In addition to same-sex intercourse, the law bans promoting and abetting homosexuality, as well as conspiracy to engage in homosexuality. Violations under the law draw steep penalties, including death for so-called aggravated homosexuality and life in prison for gay sex. The legislation will be sent to Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni to be signed into law. French President Emmanuel Macron said the deeply unpopular new law that raises the retirement age in the country was necessary and would enter into force by the end of the year. In a rare television interview, Macron notes that though the reform is not ideal, it is necessary to bring balance in the pension system. Protests against the bill extending the retirement age by 2 years to 64 had initially gathered huge peaceful crowds in rallies organized by unions. But ever since the French government decided to skip a vote in parliament last week, spontaneous protests in Paris and elsewhere have seen rubbish bins and barricades set ablaze every night amid scuffles with police. Macron said such, quote, extreme violence is not acceptable, but noted that he respects citizens' right to peaceful protests.
Est-ce que vous pensez que ça me fait plaisir de faire cette réforme?
Dites-le nous.
Non. Est-ce que vous pensez que j'aurais pas pu faire comme tant avant moi, mettre la poussière sous le tapis? Oui, peut-être. Mais la réalité, et s'il y a une chose que je regrette, c'est que nous n'avons pas réussi à partager la contrainte. Plus exactement, la nécessité. On ne tolérera aucun débordement. On fera en sorte qu'une vie la plus normale possible puisse reprendre face à ceux qui bloquent à quelques-uns l'activité. Et après...
The release of the film Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey in Hong Kong has been cancelled. This as cinemas in Hong Kong declined to show horror interpretation of the iconic bear, which was set to be released March 23. The distributor expressed its frustration as cinemas canceled the screening after all arrangements were made. Cinemas declined to comment. Chinese censors have previously targeted the film's main character over memes that compare the bear to President Xi Jinping. Some people have used the bear's image to signal dissent. And those are the top world headlines of the hour. Join us again at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. Coming right up is Agenda at 8 a.m. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News, all sides, all the time.